Hello everyone, welcome back on our YouTube channel. As you know that in the last video we have started chapter number 5, in which we have covered topic 5.1 in detail. Today in this video we will start topic number 5.2. Actually it's again a very big topic containing around 5 to 6 subtopics. So we will divide it in 2 to 3 videos. This topic is mainly like relevant to the test planning, how the test planning is being done and how the estimation. As we know, this particular chapter is related to the test management. So everything a test manager does or a tester does during the complete testing is we will discuss in this chapter. So if you see here, we have the test planning, the topic number 5.2, which is about the test planning and estimation, that how a test manager decides that what should be the plan, what should be the strategy and approach for the particular testing project, how to estimate the the working hours or the working man hours, let's say, or the working power, the total time of delivery, the cost, expenses, everything. Like, this is a part of test plan. So the 5.2.1 topic is purpose and content of a test plan. So what actually is a purpose or what is a content of test plan? Important thing is, test plan is actually developed in the start of the project, and it varies, it changes continuously during the project as well. A test plan outlines test activities for development and maintenance projects. It gives the complete outline of what will be the test activities during the development phase, and even when the product is being delivered to the customer. After that, using the maintaining phase, if you get some errors, then you again need to test it. So it gives the outline, like how the testing activities will be performed during development and even after the release of the product during the maintenance phase. Planning is influenced by test policy and test strategy of the organization, development life cycle and methods being used. So in section 2.1 we have seen many testing methods. So here they are telling that planning is totally influenced, like what is the test strategy of the organization, what are their policies, similarly which development life cycle we are following during the software development, and scope of testing, objective, risk, constraint, criticality, testability and the availability of the resources. There are many factors, like for different projects. Sometime we have a different kind of testing techniques or different kind of test approaches and strategies. If the system is safety critical, our approach will be different considering the safety critical risk. If you can say product is not safety critical but it's a quality critical, let's say, or maybe some other external factors, maybe it is depending on some other kind of risk, not a safety but some other risk, or maybe some product is not that risky or not that safety critical, but maybe it has some other issues, some other standards to be followed. So there could be different things which influence your test plan and your estimation. As the project and test planning progress, more information becomes available and more detail can be included in the test plan. Initially you make a test plan and then you have the basic information. As the project is in progress, you get the more feedback from the testing team, from the development team as well, and then based on that you will add more detail in the test plan. Test planning, it's a very important line. Test planning is a continuous activity and is performed throughout the product's life cycle. Like, it is not that you have planned at the start of your project and then you never replan it. Test planning is an initial phase, but after this you continuously change your plan depending on the outcomes. Note that the product life cycle may extend beyond a project scope to include the maintenance phase. As I told you, sometime you have to sign with the customer. There is some legal legal requirements that you will also provide the maintenance like 1 or 2 years. At that time testing also continues. Feedback from test activities should be used to recognize changing risks so that the planning can be adjusted. So many things can be changed in the plan based on the feedback of the testing. Planning may be documented in a master test plan and in separate test plans for test levels such as system testing and acceptance testing, or for a separate test type such as usability testing, performance testing. Like, they are saying you have a major test plan, let's say, then even you can have mini test plans like system testing for example. Then for example, for integration testing you have different test plan and different team. Then maybe for your like different kind of test types, like usability testing, maybe penetration testing, performance testing, non-functional testing, functional testing. So they are telling that they are like depending on that you can have different test sub test plans. Main plan will remain the same. Based on that you have different test plan. Test planning activities may include the following, and some of these may be documented in a test plan. So more like some of the important key points of the test planning: determining the scope, objective and risk of testing. Very important. You have to define at start what is your scope, what is your objective, what is out of scope. This we will test, this we will not test. This is the risk during testing. You have to like be very sure. You should take your time and plan everything. Defining the overall approach of testing, like how you are gonna approach the different testing techniques or different test during the whole development life cycle. You have to define your approach, like based on which you are actually this we will discuss in detail in few minutes. Integrating and coordinating the test activities into software lifecycle activities. Like for example, there is continuously unit development, then you should have the unit testing. If the like they are now developing it on the module level, you should have, let's say, the integration of different modules and integration testing. So you have to actually coordinate everything of a test activity in accordance with the development lifecycle. Making decisions about what to test, the people and other resources required to perform the various test activities, and how the test activities will be carried out. Everything should be a part of your test plan. Your team, your manning strength, your working hours, your like activities, your tools, everything. Scheduling of test analysis, design, implementation, execution and evaluation activities either on particular dates, e.g. in a sequential development, or in the context of each iteration in iterative or agile development. Like you know which development model actually you are following. Actually it's a sequential, or let's say it's an iterative. You are using some agile. So based on that you finalize some dates, that on this date we will have this release, on this date we will have this release. So based on that release we have to plan everything, we have to design test cases, we have to implement, execute, get the feedback, control them whatsoever. Selecting matrices for test monitoring and control. Like what are your matrices, on which thing you will monitor and control your, like if you get some result from testing, on what are the factors, on which fact, based on which factor will you decide now my testing is done. So you have to set some well defined matrices. Maybe you can take it from the previous projects, and based on that you decide no, everything is fine. Budgeting of test activities, again part of test plan. How much will be the cost will be spent on testing, so that you can discuss with your customer. Determining the level of detail, and structure of test document by providing templates or example document. Like you have to provide each detail and structure of test documentation. You should have the complete structure of the test documentation so that you can plan it. The content of test plan vary and can extend beyond the topics identified above. Like there could be many other points as we have discussed above, but they were the key points. A sample test plan structure and sample test plan can be found in ISO. Like ISO normally provides some standards for testing. You can see in 2911193 document. Like there you can find some standard test plan, what will be the sub parts of the test plan, what should be the main parts, like template. So you can see this, but it is out of scope of our certified testing of foundation level. This test plan, actually when you are doing a test manager advanced level, over there you have to be very familiar with the template of test plan. But currently for this particular foundation level, it's pretty fine if you know what are the main points of test plan. So the next subtopic is 5.2.2, which is about test strategy and test approach. Like you have a test plan now based on your project, which particular product are you testing, or what is your goal. Based on that your test strategy and test approach actually can be changed. Like how it works. First of all, if I can give you an overall view, like I need some space, maybe here I can tell you. Like first of all, based, like you have an overview, like what will be your test strategy based on your company, like what strategy they are following for the testing, and then based on the product you analyze something, and then you tell I will use this approach. Like after test strategy you tell your approach, like what will be my approach. This we will see in few minutes. Then when your approach is finalized, like what will be your approach. Are you going to test this product based on some standards, based on some risk, or based on like your past experiences. Maybe you have tested the same product in your previous company or in the same company, let's say, and maybe in your previous project. So you will tell this will be my approach because I have previous experience and I will do it on experience based. But maybe if the customer tells you this product is like safety critical, then your approach will be oriented towards safety critical things. Then after test approach, you tell about like what will be my test levels which I will use during the testing. Similarly, what will be my test techniques that I'm going to be used, and similarly what will be my different type of testing that I will be used. So I will be using the different, like this we will see. It was only an overview for you. So what can be your strategy and test approach? A test strategy provide a generalized description of test process, usually at the product or organization level. Common type of test is like it's on the like it's a like you can say inheritance of a company, you say, or organization. What strategy they are following? Common strategies. Common strategies which are being used normally are as follows. The first one is analytical. Like you analyze something and based on that you tell this will be my approach. This type of test strategy is based on analysis of some factor, e.g. requirement or risk. For example, you tell that this testing I will do on the requirement basis, or let's say this is a risk based system, so I will do risk based testing. Risk based testing is an example of analytical approach where tests are designed and prioritized based on the level of risk. You tell that I will, like for example, this thing is more risky and this thing is depending on this thing. So you will say, like let's say the a module B is risky and module A is more risky and totally dependent on module B. So I will run test cases on module B first and then on A. So I will prioritize my test cases. Like it's a kind of like risk based testing. For example, you thinking that this system is a risk based, so it will be my like you analyze the system, you tell like what are the factors that will change your strategy, and then the analysis could be risk based, or like could be, for example, your system is somehow cyber security critical. Then based on that you analyze the system first and then you decide your test strategy. The second one, this is our first one, analytical. The second one is model based. You have a well defined model inside the company or from the customer, and they tell we only need to be compliant, or we only need to follow this test model. Then based on that you define your test strategy. In this type of test strategy, tests are designed based on some model of some required aspect of the product, such as a function, a business process, internal structure, or a non-functional characteristic. Like for example, the customer tells you that my system should be more reliable, let's say. Like the total thing is revolving around this reliability, or let's say the portability. Like today I am in this continent, in this country, and tomorrow I will be in this country, so I will carry on my product with me. It should be portable. So they will give you a model, or you will make a model or state diagram, and based on that you will actually then do the testing. So it's a model based. You have well defined model from the company or from by your own, and then based on that you write your test cases. Example of such model include business process model, state model, reliability growth model. You can google it as well. There are different well defined models for testing. Based on that models you decide your test cases. Actually it's not like you think it will totally change your test data or whatsoever, but it's a very like you don't need to go in that deep. And certified this foundation level never demands to go that deep in those concepts. It is in the test manager certification. Anyhow, here you should only know the names and the difference between them. It will be pretty fine for you. The third one is methodical. So actually the methodical is anyhow like there is some already well defined method. Like this type of test strategy relies on making systematic use of some predefined set of test or test condition, such as taxonomy of common or likely types of failure, a list of important quality characteristics, or a company wide look and feel standard for mobile app or web. Let's say like it's a method which is maybe already well defined set. Like let's say in methodical testing actually what we can do, we have a checklist. Let's say we have a checklist from the previous projects, or we have a like error guessing can also be an example of this. You have you have some pre-written test cases maybe from your old projects, from your old products, and then you reuse them. It's a methodical, like you already have a method, and based on that, like they are telling use of some predefined set of test or test condition, such as taxonomy of common or likely types of failure. Like maybe you come across a product, and you say, oh, in the last similar project I had like I have to face this kind of failures. Then you make error guessing. I think we have discussed this error guessing already in last chapter number 4. Or maybe you created a checklist by your own, by your memory. You think that this was the problem during the last testing of the similar kind of project. Maybe company wide look and feel standard for mobile apps or web pages. Like if it's a mobile app and you came across a similar mobile app in your last project, and you think, yeah, I had this kind of problems, then your strategy is a different one. Your strategy is a methodical one. You bring the test cases or the test conditions from the previous project as well. You integrate them, and then you design your test strategy. I hope you have understood it. Then the next one is process compliant. As this name is suggesting, we have some standards. Let's say for automotive safety, we have ISO 26262. Then there are in some companies, we have in some countries, or every, like in some product, if there is, like it is a power project or energy based project, there are some energy standards. Then some IC standards, some SPICE standards, some IEEE standards. So you have to follow those standards in the company. Then your trust strategy will be totally based on those standards. What they are telling, this type of test strategy involves analyzing, designing and implementing tests based on external rules and standards, such as those specified by industry specific standard, by process documentation, by rigorous identification and use of test basis, or by any process of standard imposed or by the organization. Like if your company is telling you that you have to like if you are in automotive area, for example, then your system should be safety your system are safety critical. So you are, like you have to check the safety standards. Let's say if you are in a country, there are many like strong restrictions on the like let's say some power consumption or power losses, then you have to be very compliant with this electricity standards. There could be many processes comply, like many standards which you need to follow. Process compliant, the name is suggesting. Directed or consultative, again the name is telling you some body is directing you. Maybe in a company you have a senior person who is guiding you throughout your testing, and like he was already like in same kind of projects, let's say. And like but like you have some direction, let's say the name is already suggesting. This type of test strategy is driven primarily by the advice, guidance or instruction of stakeholder, business domain expert or technology experts who may be outside the test team or outside the organization itself. Like then you don't need to worry. You discuss with them, you tell them that it's the issue, that it's the product. They are the business domain experts, they are technology experts. They will tell you, okay, you need to follow this strategy, then this strategy, and your testing is done. So you define your test strategy, your test approach based on this. The next one is regression averse. Like you have to avoid regression. Like what is the regression? Like as we have discussed a lot already, for example, you have changed, like you have a code, you have already tested it, now you implemented a new feature, okay, and like you merged it uh, uh, in the new code. Now you want to test either my system is regressed or not. Like maybe it's possible that due to the change in the one part of the code which had a bug, now you fix the bug, but now as you integrated it, it is creating problem in already those modules which were working properly. So the system is regressed. So in this case, regression averts mean we have to run our test cases on regular basis, maybe some automating test cases, so that we can avoid the regression. So this type of test strategy is motivated by desire to avoid regression of existing capabilities. The test strategy includes reuse of existing testware, especially test cases and test data, extensive automation of regression test, and standard test suites. So here actually you automate sometime, you do the regression testing continuously so that you can avoid the regression. The next one is reactive. Again the name is very clear, like based on some results, actually then you decide I will do this kind, like you get the reaction from your let's say your project and product, and then based on that then you design test cases So like it is a kind of this thing. So let's say in this type of test strategy, testing is reactive to the component or system being tested and the events occurring during the test execution rather than being pre-planned as the preceding strategies are. Like as if you remember exploratory testing. In exploratory testing in chapter number 4, the last topic we have discussed, like you play with the app, you have like very short time, you play with the, like if you have a product, you play with it, and on the run time you design test cases based on the result, you again design some test cases. Same as the reactive, it's not pre-planned, but actually it depends on the execution of test. Tests are designed and implemented and mainly and may immediately be executed in response to the knowledge gained from the prior test result. Like you are just exploring the product or project, and you are getting some result, and based on that result you are again doing some testing. So actually it's a reactive, the name is suggesting. Here is coming, exploratory testing is a common technique employed in reactive strategies. So I hope if you have gone through chapter number 4, you can understand it now. An appropriate test strategy is often created by combining several of these type of test strategies. Like now it is the very important point which is coming. Like it is not fixed that your strategy you have well defined or a single strategy. Maybe inside a product, inside a project, you have a 3 to 4 strategies. You are process compliant as well, you are using some analytical technique based on some risk or some issues. Similarly, you are also using reactive technique. So there could be many approaches you can merge together strategies. For example, risk based testing or analytical strategy can be combined with exploratory testing or reactive strategy. They complement each other and may achieve more efficient testing when used together. So like it's you know already, like it will be then your product will be more secure and more efficient. While the test strategy provides a generalized description of a test process, the test approach tailors the test strategy for a particular project or release. As I told you, we have seen it few moments back, that test strategy is in journal. Then based on the test strategy which you have defined in test plan, uh, you define your test approach, which is like project oriented. The test approach is a starting point of selecting the test techniques, test level and test types. I think this we have already discussed. Like you have a test strategy from your company, general strategy. Based on that you finalize your approach, how you are gonna, like it could be any of approach from here which we have seen, and then based on your approach you will define your test level, test types and test techniques which are you going to use. And for defining the entry criteria and exit criteria, or definition of ready or definition of done respectively. Like then your approach is finalized, now your test levels, test techniques are finalized, and then you finalize your entry and exit criteria. The tailoring of a test strategy is based on decision made in relation to the complexity and goals of the project, the type of the product being developed, and product risk analysis. Like there are many factors actually on which you can you can change your test strategy of the company. That means test approach. First of all comes test strategy, which is journal. Based on that, based on a product, then you combine the test strategy, your product, you think about it, and you come up with a test approach, and then you decide test level, test type and test techniques. So here they are telling that the tailoring of strategy is based on decision made in relation to the complexity and goals of the project, the type of the product being developed, and the product risk analysis. The selected approach depends on the context and may consider factors such as risk, safety, available resources and skills, technology, the nature of the system, e.g. Custom build versus like codes. Like normally you take a third party program as well to merge in your application or your product. So you have to be very sure that these third party tools are also good integrated with your product. So based on that your strategy could be changed. Test objective and regulations. So it comes with experience. That's why it is a like task of test manager who has already 4 to 5 years of experience. Like he comes across some project and he tells, I will use this strategy, this will be my approach, this will be my test types, level, techniques, exit criteria, entry criteria, whatsoever. So there are so many things to think. So this was everything friends for this video. I hope we have discussed in detail many things. If you have any question, just put it in the comment section. In the next video we will try to start topic 5.2.3, which is about entry and exit criteria and further topics. So until the next video, we wish you happy learning. Take care and bye.